In the next 2 minutes, I want to talk to you about group work and how, from my experience of watching teachers teaching and students learning and speaking to teachers, that in the vast majority of times, group work really doesn't work. And that's for a lot of different reasons, which I'll explain in a second. But I think a lot of it comes down to teachers not really being skilled enough to really do group work really effectively. I think there's a common misconception that group work's easy, it's nice, but actually you've got to be able to be really skilled at it to do it really well. What generally happens, and we're probably kind of nodding along and thinking, yeah, I've seen this before, is that when you get into a group, 1 or 2 people naturally lead it, 2 or 3 people probably sit back and don't do really much. And actually, I always think, well, has that actually enhanced the learning process? Have the students in the group got more out of it because you've done it in a group, or have they done less, and has there been less cognitive demands because they've let other people do things for them? So I think Dylan William really talks about this really, really well when he talks about the fact that students need to work as a group, not just in a group. And also that if you frame the learning process so that 1 or 2 people can do the majority of the work, then you're not going to get any benefit out of this whatsoever. So as a teacher, you need to really think that actually group work isn't an easy option. And I think that's sometimes the hangover from things that have happened in the last 10 to 15 years in teaching, where there was a real push away from roles in classroom and to group tables and independent learning and project-based learning, all these different types of things. But when you think about it, actually, if I'm going to do a group task, what are my students going to get benefit from, rather than doing it individually? Because if they have to do it individually, then there's more cognitive demands, they have to think more, there's deeper thinking, it's going to be harder for them. Usually I see that when it comes into a group work task, it just becomes easier for people because there's really one output, the group discussion or the group kind of presentation that lots of people contribute to. And actually, did it need to be a group discussion? Did it need to be a group task? Or actually, could it have been individual, and would that have made it far more demanding for the students and make them think deeper and educationally been a better task? So ultimately, the moral of this is really before you set a group task, is it going to make a difference? Is it going to enhance the learning process? Or actually, are the students just going to do less because they can just work in a group rather than as a group? Hopefully that's been useful to really reflect on that. If it has, join the comments below or in your staff room and feel free to share.